As it is written, eye have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which the Most High have prepared for them that love him. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rachakodash. Double honors unto the elder apostles of the great millstone, the men who taught us this truth. And much love, greetings, and salutations to the elect tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And I want to get into, what the Lord have in stores for us, if we endure, this good fight of faith unto the end. And, I was reading across Isaiah, the 61st chapter, particularly the verse where the scriptures say that we will boast in the riches of the Gentiles. And, I thought to how our forefathers were living. They pretty much, they were gleaning, man. They were, they were waxing fat. They had riches. Man, Jake was good, man. But because of our disobedience, man, we fell all the way to the bottom, man. We fell rock bottom. And here he is. We're we're the tail and the nations are the head, particularly Esau, all right, who is the basest nation on the face of the whole earth. All right, they're viler than the earth, but yet they're over us and they have everything that a man could wish for. All right. So hey, if the Lord give a piece of shit like Esau, this world, then how much more his sons and his daughters, his chosen. All right, we're gonna boast in the wealth of the Gentiles, man. And that's gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, which is actually coming to us, real soon. And the verse is actually in I believe the 6th verse, but I'm gonna start at the top. This is dealing with the gospel. It's Isaiah 61:1. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord power is upon me, because the Lord have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek," which the Hebrew word for good tidings is bashar, which means gospel or good news. And this is definitely good news to hear that, we're not gonna, live on the bottom any longer, man. We're not gonna have to be subject to payments. We're not gonna be in debt. We're not gonna owe no one. All right, we're not gonna have to, serve in hardcore bondage. All right, being totally broken, wishing we could have. All right, having all these desires and wants, but you can't even achieve them. You can basically get it only in measure. Well, in the kingdom, there's gonna be no limit to the amount of blessings we're gonna get, and that's part of the good news, man. It tells us that in Deuteronomy 28, which I'm gonna eventually get to it. All right, that those blessings are gonna overtake us, man. All right, so this is all good news here, man, and this is something to think about, as we get closer and closer into Jacob's trouble. It says, "He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn." So that's talking about the acceptable year of the Lord is talking about the day of the Lord's vengeance, when he shows up with the host of heaven. All right, the Lord said, he's not going to meet these nations as a man. He's going to come back, with that divine force. And he's going to lay all these nations down. That Yahweh Shai, all right, he's going to be exalted, all right, and he's going to lay low the haughtiness of the proud. And the Lord that day alone is going to be exalted. So we're out here to proclaim that day as well, because on that same day is when the Lord is going to dethrone these other nations and all the wealth that these nations have labored for, which a lot of it was accumulated through the children of Israel being had in captivity, or through slave labor, free slave labor at that. All those riches are going to be translated to us, and the Lord's going to make that happen. All right, it tells us that in Sirach, the 10th chapter, the 8th verse, because of unjust dealings and injuries, uh, 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 roughly paraphrasing, riches gotten by deceit. Therefore the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So that's going to actually happen. And when those riches are translated to us, we're going to be blessed. And like it says in Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, and the 7th verse, all the curses that we have to endure is going to be upon our enemies. So they're going to end up being the tail. We're going to lend to them. They're not going to be able to lend to us. They're going to have to go to us for the one of all things. And we're going to distribute everything accordingly, man, according to the law. All right. So the acceptable year of the Lord, which, is dealing with, when he comes back, that's going to be a change, a world change. All right. It's going to be a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. All right. So that should, comfort all you brothers and you sisters out there, man. The Lord's going to come back and bring that to us. All right. Verse 3, it says, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. Meaning what? When the Lord shows up, it tells how the Lord is going to wipe away our tears. There would be no more sorrow. Let's get that in Revelation 21. Let me just get straight to the point. Revelation 20, verse 1. And I heard, Revelation 21, Slakia, verse 3. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High power himself shall be with them and be their power. And the Most High power, or the powers, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. So no more mourning in Israel. It says, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. All right, and which is what? Us being under the curse, which one of those curses was, it would be a sorrow of mind. Okay, our life, would hang in doubt. We would have no assurance of our life. Well, that's going to be a thing of the past, man, because we're going to live forever. The Lord's going to give us everlasting life. That's why Yahweh Shai is to always be appreciated, man. Always giving thanks to the Father through the name Yahweh Shai, man, because we wouldn't be able to have these things if it wasn't for that sacrifice. All right, so going back to Isaiah 61, it says, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. All right, and that's ultimately the Lord's elect. All right, because they've been able to flourish, through the planting of the Lord. All right, they have that solid foundation. They fell on good ground and they brought forth fruit. And that's all to the glorification of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And the Lord's also going to make us righteous when he put when he enforced, the new covenant, into us, into our inward parts, man, that he's going to program us to be righteous. And we're going to keep all the laws, perfectly. And not one Israelite is going to go off, man. That's going to start with the elect, and then eventually the rest of the nation, when they come back through the elect, they're going to be righteous as well. All right, verse 4, it says, and they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. All right, and basically Israel is going to be rebuilt back up, because we know that, when Yahweh Shai comes back, the actual land of Israel is going to be destroyed in a nuclear fire, from the battle of Armageddon. All those people that are in the land right now, well, not all of them, but the majority of them, they're a bunch of heathens that don't belong there. But the Lord got them there, because of prophecy. It tells us how, we will be scattered among the nations. We will basically be led captive among all nations, and the land of Israel will be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. All right, and they've had their time. They've especially Esau Edom. He has our holy land in possession, and he's been ruling the world. From our holy land. All right. Esau is in his blessing. He's in his heaven right now, but he's getting ready to be taken out of it. Okay. So once our world is established, the heathen are going to build up the desolate waste. They're going to build up our walls, man. It tells us that in the previous chapter. Let's go to Isaiah 60. How they're going to build up, our walls, man. They're going to build up Jerusalem. Let me see, Isaiah 60 and 10, 11. Yeah, this Isaiah 60 and 10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee," meaning they're going to serve us. They're going to be servants. It says, "For in my wrath I smote thee," talking about Israel. All right, you jacked us up according to the curse because we went off. It says, "But in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles," meaning the riches, "and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted." So hey, it comes with a penalty if they choose not to serve us, all right, in our kingdom, then hey, they're gonna get dealt with. And this is the Lord spoke this, man. So they're gonna build up Jerusalem, man, and it's gonna be glorious. So we're gonna have a lot of riches coming in, man. All right, so going back to 61 in verse 5, it says, "And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers." So we're gonna have men working agriculture for us. They're gonna be tilling the ground. They're gonna be plowing. They're gonna be sowing seeds. All right, they're gonna be planting for us, man. We're gonna have a bunch of vegetation, crops. All right, herbs. We're gonna flourish, man. Because right now the land is actually cursed. Because you got the curse. All right, that the Lord placed upon the land because of Cain. It's not yielding forth. It's its fullness. Because you got Cain over there right now. But when we get into the land, it's going to be blessed again. It says, verse 6, and here's the point. It says, "But you shall be named the priest of the Lord." And how are we all going to be priests? Because it ain't just the Levites. The Levites were formerly the priest of the Most High. But since Yahushua's sacrifice, we've been all made priests, under the order of Melchizedek. So the priesthood and then went from the Levites to all the nation of Israel, which that was actually promised to us, going back during the time of Moses. Exodus, the 19th chapter, he said that, we would all be, we will be kings and priests. All right. Let me see. Let me go to real quick. Yeah, let's go to Exodus 19 and starting at verse 5. And we're going to have to be priests unto these nations. We're going to have to teach them how to keep our law. Because like I said, if they will not serve us, then, it will perish. And there's even scriptures that prophesy that if they will not keep uh, the Feast of Tabernacles, they would have a famine. Okay, so these nations will have no choice, man. Like it says in Isaiah, the second chapter, the law is going to go forth out of Zion, man. Okay, it's going to come straight from the mountain, which is the government. That's going to be the hegemon of the planet Earth, the 144,000 of Israel, the chosen. All right, so this is Exodus 19, 5 and 6. It says, "Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people that are, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." All right, and when Yahushua comes back, all right, we're going to be made kings and priests. This is Revelation 5 and verse 8. It says, "And when he had taken the book, the four beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb," talking about Yahushua, "having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof," which Yahushua did that. And he opened up our understanding, man. This is only amongst the elect. The 144,000 are only able to receive the new song and sing it. It says, "For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation." So Israel was scattered amongst us. Among all the nations. So therefore, they've been redeemed. All right, among all those nations. So when you read like Revelation 7 and 9, it talks about that great multitude, that could not be measured nor numbered, of all kindred, tongue, people, and nations. That's talking about Israelites that are scattered amongst them. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to Isaiah 61 to prove that that's talking about Israelites. It says, "And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth." All right. So let's go back to Isaiah 61. It says, "But you shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall you boast yourselves." All right. So in their wealth, we're gonna be boasting, man. Okay. And these nations, they're gonna know that we're the children of the most, we're the sons and daughters of the Most High. So they're gonna deify us. They're gonna bow to us, man. Even to the point of envy in their mind. They're gonna be envying, how much we came up, because they're used to seeing us rock bottom, man. We live in a pissy, shitty ghetto in the projects, in the vadios, on reservations, man. Stacked on top of each other in buildings, man. Have barely any space, no privacy. That's how we live right now under these curses. But you know how Jake get when they get a little money on them, they start flashing and they boast. You know that shit. That's a culture in itself amongst Jake, especially in the hip hop world. A lot of the music is about boasting, man. So we're gonna boast in these nations' faces, especially Esau, man. While he's in those pits shackled up, they're gonna lose everything, man. It says, "For your shame you shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double, and everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles." Right? Among what? Among, every kindred, tongue, and nation. And their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. All right, and they're gonna know we're blessed people, man. All right, and that's Deuteronomy 28. 1, it says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations on the earth." So we'll be over everybody, man. We'll be far more wiser. We'll be more powerful. We'll be more wealthy. We'll be more holy. It says, "And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power." Okay? So that was part of the blessings, that if we, kept his covenant, that we would have these things in abundance. Right, talks about the basket and store, cattle. All right, a man being able to have, a litter. You have multiple children. We'd have multiple wives. You have livestock, a bunch of cattle, sheep. You know, you would not, nobody would be lacking. All right, if you was an Israelite, and in the kingdom, no Israelite is going to be lacking. We're gonna have abundance, man. All right, and all right, going to the time of Isaac, there was a time where he was blessed, and he was so blessed that even the nations, round about him, they were envious. This is Genesis 26, and let's go to, because this is when there was a famine in the land. Yep, there was a famine in the land, and he wasn't supposed to go into the land of Egypt, so he, went to the land of Canaan, right? And let's start here. This is Genesis 26 and verse uh 12, and this is after, because he was passing through with his wife, Rebecca, and they saw how fine she was, man. And he sensed that they were going to try to plot to kill him and take his wife from him. So he played it off like, they were just sister and brother. The same thing that Abraham did with his wife, Sarah. But then they figured out like, no, that's his wife. Why are you playing like that, yo? You trying to get us killed? Because even though these nations are base, but they had a little more integrity back then than they do now. Okay, they knew that was some fuckboy shit to lay with another man's wife. All right, so after that happened, they allowed Isaac to sojourn in the land, and this is what happened. The Lord increased Isaac, as Genesis 26 and 12 it says, then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed them. All right, so this was before, all right, what the Lord had Moses, come down to tell the Israelites in Sinai about being blessed. All right, our forefather Isaac experienced the blessing. It says, and the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. All right, and nobody came against him because the king charged all the people that, hey, if anybody lay a finger to this man or his wife, hey, you're gonna get put to death. You're gonna get dealt with. So nobody touched this man. So everybody thought the land, they had respect for him. So when they left him alone, man, he started to increase in their land. And you talk about, the curse where it says, the stranger that is within thee shall get thee above thee very high, and thou shall be brought low. What scripture is that? Deuteronomy 28, and where is it at? Because that's actually, what we're experiencing, man. We're on the bottom, and these other nations, they're able to get up quick. They can accumulate wealth, easily, and a lot of them do it to, by exploiting us. Taking our money, they set up businesses in our neighborhoods, and they just eat, man. We give all our money to them. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 43. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low." All right, and that's we have to experience that on this side. But in the kingdom, it's going to be the opposite. All right, and this was what Isaac actually experienced. This verse 14. It says, "For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him." So he was shining so hard on them that they started to envy him. Like, yo, this dude came up a little too quick. Like, hey, yo, bruh. You kind of, you shining a little more. You shining a little bright over there, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you doing the most, man. And you just got over here and you already just doing the most. So they was envying him, man. They was hating. Hey, so just imagine when we get in the kingdom, man, how blessed we're gonna be. We're gonna boast. There's verse 15. It says, "For all the wells which his father's servant had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with the earth." So they was like, "Nah, hell no, man. They ain't finna have all this water and all these wells, and this guy's this dude is he's just doing it, man. So let's put some cement in his man's well, man, his cistern, so he don't get all that water. You see how these nations, they haters, man. When you get to getting blessed, you start flourishing, man. People will hate you. All right, but anyway, it says, "And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we." It says, "And Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after their names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with them." So they started to fight, over those wells, man. You know, that's all. That's always been a thing that causes wars is resources or riches, wealth. You know, so that happened then. It says, "And they digged another well and strove for that also, and he called the name of it Sitna." So everywhere he was going, they would try to fight him for it. Hey, in the kingdom, they're not gonna fight us for shit. They're just gonna bring it to us, man. That's the difference. All right. It says, "And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rahabath, and he said, For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba." All right, so he became fruitful. He had riches, man, and they envied him for it. So he had to have been, with all that land, and it was to the point where he was taking up all their land, and they was getting mad. He had to have had a lot of riches to store. You know, he had to have a certain amount of land to store all those resources, man. And guess what? Even King Solomon, when he became king, he literally had whole storehouses, all right, that made up cities. He had cities of storage houses, man, to store his horsemen, his chariots. As a matter of fact, let me get First Kings 4, and then we're gonna go to chapter 9, just so you can see a glimpse of what King Solomon had, in which that's just an inkling, man, of what we're gonna get in the kingdom. Okay, uh, there's a First Kings 4, and I'm gonna read verse 7, and I'm gonna jump down. It says, "And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals, or food, for the king and his household, each man his month in a year made provision." All right, and basically a provision is like a calculation or a measurement, or to contain certain goods or resources. All right, so basically every month there had to be a calculation or a measurement of all the goods that Solomon would actually use every month. So that shows a lot, man. This man had wealth. Okay, he had abundance, man. All right, jumping down, verse even the men that worked for him, they had their own little houses and towns and stuff, man. Everybody was doing good. That's why the scriptures say, when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice, man. There was nothing but peace during the time of Solomon, because everybody was well off, everybody was good. But not Esau, though. He's doing good, and then the rest of the people got it all, effed up, man. Just in total misery. Everybody fighting each other for scraps, and this devil just laying on resources and wealth. You read Psalms the 73rd chapter, man. Hey, I was matter of fact, it was a lesson I did months ago. probably almost a year ago, where I saw this little documentary where you had this antique collector by the name of Gordon Watson, and he's known for collecting antiques, which a lot of those antiques are old collection of old items, whether it be art, whether it be furniture, old clocks and watches and vases and stuff like that. A lot of that shit is costly. It has a lot of value because of how old, how much age it has. And he went into this big house that was owned by Lord Rothschild, and basically Lord Rothschild was giving him a tour around the house, and basically that whole house was just full of expensive ass, old ass furniture and art, you know. And he was talking about how much each piece of art and furniture cost, and it was like pocket money to him, you know, little vases and clocks and you know silverware and shit costing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece. Certain pieces millions of dollars, and that's nothing to him. That's pocket money, you know. And it's just laid up in that house, man. And that house probably itself is hundreds of millions in dollars of worth. And I don't even think he even live in that house. That's just a house to keep all the merchandise that he's bought over the years. So if these devils living like that, how much more than the children of Israel, man? So dealing with King Solomon, um, let's jump to it is verse 21. It says, "And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life." All right, and they're going to do that in the kingdom. They're going to be bringing gifts to Yahweh Shai. They're going to serve Yahweh Shai. They're going to bow down before his feet, man. Verse 22, it says, "And Solomon's provision for one day," all right, this is, the measurement of things that he used for one day, was 30 measures of fine flour, because he probably had a lot of feasts going on, different, people visiting, so he would have breads and stuff provided in his household, cakes and stuff like that. He ate good, man, and everybody in his household ate good. His children, his wives, they all ate good. It says, "In 80 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen, and 20 oxen of the pastures, and then 100 sheep." So these are all the livestock, the cattle that he had, that he was able to pick from each day, all right, to be able to eat. This is all just one day's worth. That's come on, bro. That's riches. That's wealth. Okay, that's glory, man. This is real wealth right here. Not what Jay-Z, not what Floyd Mayweather and them is talking about. All right, them niggas don't have oxen at their cribs where they can have something hunted, on arrival, immediately. All right, have it cut up and butchered up and cleaned. All right, seasoned up and cooked that same day. None of them niggas got it like that, man. Okay, they don't have a farmland where they can have all this livestock raised. Okay, it says 100 sheep. Ain't no nigga I know with 100 sheep. All right, beside hearts, which I believe that's talking about deer. And you can eat deer. There's venison, and it's pretty good. You ever had grilled venison? That shit is fire, man. And we're gonna have all that in the kingdom, and we're gonna have the nations, our servants, the slaves of the heathen. We're gonna make sure they cook it right. They're gonna cook it well done. Ain't gonna be no pink shit in the middle, man. All right. It says in roebucks, which roebuck is I believe I was talking about a gazelle, which is in the antelope family, so you can eat gazelle as well. It says, and follow deer and fatted fowl. More than likely with some big ass chicken, okay, or turkey or something, okay. So Jake stayed with the meats, all right. They had it on fire. They grilled it up, and they was eating, man. Jake loved to eat. Okay, imagine just having this. having it like this every single day, man. And you never run out because the Lord is constantly blessing you. Well, that's how it's gonna be in the kingdom, man. Okay? And with all the stuff that he actually had, with all the gold and the horses, let me jump down to verse 26. It says, and Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victuals for King Solomon and for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. Okay. So he had all these things, man. So he was good. His household was good. Israel was good. And even the heathen servants were even good, man. Okay. So let's go from there to Kings, the 9th chapter. So just imagine having all these things. Of course, these heathens are going to see that we're flowing in wealth, and the fact that we're going to boast, we're going to put it in their face, we're going to rub it in right in their grill, man. You know how Jake, man, we get like a man. Come on, man. Jake will teach you how to stunt, man. Like G-Unit said back in the day. All right, hey, Pox, was that song "Straight Ballin'"? I would like to share a definition of balling with you white folks, but now y'all know that song "Straight Ballin'." Hey, we gonna ball, man. All right, and that's in the kingdom, man. All right, this current life, man, this ain't living. Okay, living paycheck to paycheck. You happy because you making $100,000 a year. That ain't shit, man. Okay, compared to the super elite, man, you piss poor, man. All right, you just living in a better condition than the lower slaves. This is First Kings 9, and this was after Solomon had the temple built as well as his palace, his mansion. Let me jump down to verse this is First Kings 9 and 15. It says, and this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised for to build the house of the Lord and his own house, and Milo and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazar and Megiddo and Gezer, for Pharaoh king of Egypt had gone up and taken Gezer and burned it with fire, and slain the Canaanites that dwelt in the city, and given it for a present unto his daughter Solomon's wife. So Solomon has so much respect that even the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, he went and took land, from the Canaanites, our fellow Hamites, and gave those cities over, gave the city, one of the cities, over to Solomon's wife. So even if you're a king and you have all this jurisdiction, you have all this land and all this respect, everything that's yours, you share it with your family. So even your wives have an inheritance, man. So hey, our wives, the amount of wives that we gonna have, man, they gonna have their own lands, man. They gonna be well off. Okay. It says, and Solomon built Gezer and Bethelhorn, the nether, and Baalath, Baalath, and Tadmor in the wilderness in the land, and all the cities of store that Solomon had, the cities for his chariots. So this man had cities just to hold up, just to hold his where to hold his chariots at, man. You know how Jake on his side, like Floyd Mayweather, all these different entertainers that like to flaunt their money and what they got. Um, they have in a mansion they'll have like a multi-car garage, or it look like you at the damn dealership, and they got all these fancy cars, whether it be a Maybach or a Bentley or a Phantom or a Rolls Royce or whatever, a Lambo, a Audi. Well, Solomon had cities that stored his vehicles. You niggas, you Jake in the world, man. All right, you're not fucking with Solomon, man. You're not on Solomon's level, man. Which Solomon is Yahweh Shai. You ain't gonna be on Yahweh Shai's level. That's for sure. His man had cities just for his chariots, man. We the best we can get is a 2-car garage. All right, in our home, we live in an apartment. You ain't got no garage. You got to park in a parking structure, assigned parking. You know, Jake will park they little Audi or a little Mercedes or whatever, but it'll be in a damn parking lot. Somebody can come and take that shit, or it could be repoed or something. Solomon has cities for his vehicles, man. Talking about on a level. It says in cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem and in Lebanon in all the land of his dominion. All right, so the things that we would normally put in our closets and shit like that, and Solomon had a city for it to hold abundance of it, man. So just imagine how the kingdom is going to be, okay? Where you're going to have cities just to store up your riches. And you'll have servants basically going into them cities and bringing certain measures of it, to where you at anytime you want it. That's what the Lord meant by when he said, the Lord will give you of your heart's desire, man. Okay? Psalms 21 and 2, it says, thou hast given him his heart's desire and has not withholden the request of his lips. Okay? I believe there's another precept that goes into that. Yeah, ask of me and ask of me and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance. Yeah, we're gonna also own these nations too, man. We're gonna make them, work for us. They're gonna do whatever we tell them to do. Okay? Part of being a king is having servants, man. That's royalty, man. Um, uh, there's another precept, but I don't see it in the cross references. But it's all good. But hey, this goes to show you how we're gonna have it, man, and why we're hasting the coming of the day of the Lord, because we're looking to that, man. We're not looking for this current wicked ass kingdom to continue any further, man. Jake, that's of this world. They still want this to continue. That's why they're gonna go down with this current world. They don't have that ruling class mentality. They have a compartment mentality, man. Still in a box. They think this is as great as it's gonna get. All right, but we have the vision, man. We understand that there's much more greater prepared for us, and this ain't it, man. Okay, so we're gonna have abundance, man. We're gonna be blessed. Okay, and it says, in our riches, all right, we're gonna eat the riches of the Gentiles, in their glory we shall boast ourselves, man. Okay, and they're gonna be envious, but they're not gonna be able to do nothing about it, man. It says that the heathen shall envy thee. All right, but we're gonna have abundance, man, and nobody's gonna be able to do nothing to us. All right, well, let's go to the different translations and see what they say. All right, the pretty much says the same thing in the New King James. Let's get the New Language translation. It says, "You will be called priests of the Lord, ministers of our power. You will feed on the treasures of the nations and boast in their riches." And we're gonna do that, especially Esau, man, because everything that Esau has in his possession, he actually stole that from us anyway. All right, he stole from us during the Babylonian captivity with the Babylonians, and he also stole from us, during the Roman Empire, man. How was he able to fund the amphitheater? He took the riches out of the temple when they sacked it. Okay, and and how did they fund America? How did they fund their current world economic structure? Through the transatlantic slave trade, man. That was their start, and they since then, they became stupid rich, and now they're trying to carry on with their whole new world order, and they think that they're going to live forever and ever. But the Lord, hey, there's no counsel against the Lord, man. Okay, why do the heathen rage, and why do they imagine a vain thing? All right, the Lord is laughing at you, devils. You ain't gonna hold on to these riches. You're only keeping it warm for us. Because Job, the 20th chapter says you're gonna restore it, man. You're gonna vomit them up. That what you labor for from your youth, you're gonna vomit that up, man. And we're gonna get that restitution, okay? But we're gonna go to war with you first, and that's when Yahushua comes back. All right, and once we get all those riches into our hands, we gonna boast, man. It says, and you will be called the NIV, and you will be called priest of the Lord, and you will be named ministers of our power. You will feed on the wealth of nations, and in their riches you will boast. And just like when we came out of Egypt, it said that we spoiled the Egyptians. The Lord gave us favor in their sight, and we spoiled them, and we took all their gold and their silver, all their precious jewels, and we made earrings and bracelets and stuff out of it, and we were boasting, man. We spoiled those Egyptians. Okay, so how much more in this time, which we ain't gonna carry nothing out of Babylon because everything's gonna be destroyed here. But across the rest of the world, all that is gonna be given to us, and you ain't gonna be totally desolate. You're gonna have money, and you're gonna have a monetary system, but it's gonna come from us. We're gonna set everything in motion, and we're gonna teach the nations how to live life on the earth as it was intended to be. Our Eastern Standard Version says, "But you shall be called the priests of the Lord, and they shall speak of you as the ministers of our power, and you shall eat the wealth of the nations, and in their glory you shall boast." All right. So hey, I'm gonna just stop it right there, man. Okay. And that's that's going into the blessings. All right. We will no longer be under the curse of being totally destitute. Having all these needs and wants and desires and can't even have it met. You know. You got to constantly, but you're constantly meeting the pleasures of these nations. You know, they got your women, they got all this money, they got businesses, they got stock, they got their military, they got everything, man. But what do you Jakes have? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives. You ain't got nothing, man. You're just in neighborhoods. Anyway, I hope this lesson was edifying as well as comforting. And we're in that spirit too of getting into going into scriptures that give us comfort, man, because that's what the scriptures are meant to be, a comfort for us, man. It gives us hope. And that's what you're going to need to hold on to in these days coming into tribulation. All right. So anyway, with that, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And until next time, I say, Shalom.